Hello everyone, this is Lisa with Grace and Old Paper. This is video 2, I believe, of me working on this baby journal. I left it last time I had showed you all the bits and pieces. Well, I've got it down to this part. You can kind of see, I spray adhesive on the box frame, and then I adhered the batting to it. Then I did some more spray adhesive, and I adhered this ish. Again, bad lighting, I apologize if there's shadows and stuff like that. We are going through a spell of rainy weather, and so I have to make do with what I can during the day. Anyway, I have adhered it ish. I sprayed the adhesive on it, and I used the Elmer's Craft Bond. And I thought about doing some Fabri-Tac, but I elected not to, because I am going to be sewing around the edge of the book, like I did my Christmas journals. And that makes it stay on here. So I did do the spray adhesive. You can see you can peel it up. And I had to actually do that a couple of times because getting this thing as centered as I could on the cover. It's not perfect. Number one, because this fabric the squares on it were slightly askew, but I wanted to go with it anyway. So it's a little difficult, but I really wanted to make this edge as good as I could. And get it as centered as I could. So that's approximately what it looked like. So my next step, and I have cut around the edges. I have left a little extra on right now, and I will fix and attempt to do these corners. Now I have to tell you, I'm really not that great with corners. There are some people that are just perfectly wonderful with these things, and I am not one of those. So I am a little nervous to do this on camera, because I make myself nervous doing them, period. So what I may do is pause right here, and then do one on my own and kind of get it trimmed up some, and then come back and do some more with you. Okay, pause. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we just had a major boo-boo. I have been sitting here yammering to myself for quite a while, thinking I was filming. I was not. I took a photo, but I was not filming, and didn't realize it till I got to this point and was talking to you about the cover, and looked up and realized, hey, my screen went black. And I was like, oh no, 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 no. Okay, so what I did, I trimmed it to where there was about this much, but about 1.5 inches left all the way around. I cut the corners. Let me see if I can find the piece of that I cut off so I can show you. I threw it in the trash. I cut the corners off, kind of at a bit of a curve, just a bit. And then I folded them in. And when this was the first one I did, and it wasn't great. But I folded them in, and when you fold in your first side, there should be a little tiny little bit left, and you fold it and kind of adhere it to the cover, and then you fold in this one and it covers it up. So I have been sitting here telling you all about my sewing machine I got several years ago. We talked about my fingernail polish that I will not use when I'm crafting again, because it started coming off. See that? Yeah. The glue was making it do that. So I won't do that again. Luckily this will be covered up. I talked to you about my fancy little glue spreader. I got these from Dollar Tree. In the makeup section, they're silicone makeup brushes, but they work fantastic for glue, because once it dries, I'm not sure if this is dry enough, but once it dries, You literally just peel it off. I just don't think this is dry enough yet. Yeah, look at that. It just peels off. It's wonderful. It's just not dry enough glue yet. But it peels off and it looks like brand new afterwards. So if you see those at Dollar Tree, grab those because they're fantastic. And they're very flexible. So they go over the surfaces really well. What else did I talk about that I obviously didn't film? Oh my God. I was telling you about my sewing machine because I'm going to go around the edges. And I know this is tripled on the cardboard here. And I've already done journals like this. My Christmas journals I did were like this, in this style. So I know my sewing machine will go over this. I just have to go slow and careful, which I do anyway because I don't sew really straight when I get in a hurry. So if I want this to be right on the edge, I have to go as slow as the machine will go. Luckily, my machine, it's a really good one, but it has a push button start. I don't have to use a pedal, and I can set a speed on it, which is fantastic. So it will just go at this nice, slow, steady rhythm, which is wonderful for me. Wonderful for me. The foot pedal, I always had issue with it because, you know, sometimes you mash it and it will pause and then it'll just speed up, and then sometimes, at least my old machine did. And I was telling you too that mine's about 7.5 years old, and I got it because my oldest daughter was pregnant, and I wanted to make a rag quilt for her baby. And my old machine I had was ancient, but it, you know, it always worked great, but all of a sudden it decided it wasn't going to anymore, and it was jamming up. It was like making knots. I would sew and there would be this huge knot of thread, and it was breaking threads, and no matter what setting I put it on, I still could not. It had just determined it had had enough in its life, and it was done. So I was in tears, and I was so frustrated trying to sew, and my husband's like, let's just get you a new sewing machine. So I got mine off of Amazon, and I do love it. I absolutely love it. So we're going to pause again, and I'm going to sew around the edges to adhere this. And hopefully this next time when I come back, I will actually hit record on a video and not take a picture. Wish me luck. Okay. I have stitched all the way around. Let me cut my little thread off here. I made sure I started a video this time. Oh, me. Okay. Let me see if this is ready to peel off now. Yeah, look at that. Does it even better if you wait a little bit longer. Hadn't been long. I just love that. Something kind of satisfying about it. I have tried several different things. I had this thing. I used it for a while, but it doesn't peel off as well. I had this, which works pretty good. I think it came from Dollar Tree too. But this is the best. This is the best for sure. Okay. So all I have done is a straight stitch all the way around, if you can see. And I think sometimes I do two stitches, but I think I'm good with just this one. It's never going to be perfect. I mean, if somebody else can do it perfect, you know, more power to you. I'm not perfect. I can see where it started pulling that way on the fabric, but I'm working with the receiving blanket, which has a lot of give to it, so I'm pretty happy with it though. Not 100%. I will probably never be 100% happy with one of these covers, but yeah, it just has a nice feel to it too. It has a really nice feel. I don't know if y'all have seen any of my other ones, but I had made my daughter a Christmas journal a lot like this, except hers was fancier. It had a lot of embroidery on it. We'll never do that again. And I did my Christmas journals this way this year, and I really love them. They have a good feel to them. All right, so our next step is actually going to be the end papers, which I know we've talked about them before, and I thrown my stuff on the floor. Isn't that lovely? Okay. Hang on a second. Okay. So I have to decide. Number one, I think I like this section. You know, there's different pieces to it. Now, I think I like this section. And I will actually cut it off a little more. Okay. Get the cutter out. I got a new cutter, and I'm trying to get used to it. It's the roller style. My only problem is where it cuts is not where this line is. You would think it would be where the line is, but it is not. For some reason, it is cutting. I don't know if y'all can see that. These darn shadows today, but it is cutting like right here. And I'm not sure if that's just the way it's made, or if that's some setting that is messed up on here. I am really not sure, but we'll go with it. I like that it's the roller because, you know, the other kind can actually not have a clean cut. So I'm still trying to get used to this thing. Okay. And then I'm going to take it over to here, I think. Okay. So it's got that. Yeah, let me see if I can get my other one out. This is the one I've had for years. And it does work great if you've got a fresh blade and on just regular scrapbook paper. But if you start doing anything like these, I'm afraid this would not cut cleanly. I've had issues with it anyway. Not all the time, just sometimes. All right, I've got to cut some off the top and bottom too. Let's see here. Let me get this where I want it. Excuse me if my head is in the way. It's hard to do this on camera. Let me get me a pencil. And I always find it is better to cut not enough. So that you have a little extra if you need it. All right, now this is where I'm going to run into difficulty here is where to cut it. I'm going to go by that line that's already been scored into it. Let's see how that goes. Let's see, that didn't feel like it cut right. Okay. Like I said, still getting used to it. Okay, let's see how this looks. I should have cut this end off with this line, but that's okay. I think I am going to trying to see how much I can feel the fabric. I may actually line this just a bit because this is really thin paper. So yeah, I think I will know what to line it with. And I should have done that before I cut it, which would have been the smart thing to do. But I'm nervous today, so my brain is not functioning well. Let's see what I've got here. Let's see what we've got. This is just an end paper out of a book that I did not need. So I think this will work pretty good. Let me put this in safe zone. Find some junk paper here. Paper I don't really care about. I have to figure out what I've done with it. I set it aside specifically to use for this kind of stuff. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got a pack of this wood stuff a while back, and I just don't really like some of this stuff. So I figured it'd be good to use for gluing and stuff. Okay. I'm trying to get myself back in the groove of filming. And it's not for anything. I don't make money off of it or anything like that. I figure if nothing else in future years, my family will have a way to have a piece of me still around. Sounds morbid, but you know what I mean. Plus, my youngest daughter has expressed interest in learning how to make junk journals because, you know, if something happened to me, and, you know, we don't all live forever, you know what I mean? So when it's my time, she's still going to want her Christmas journals and other journals like I make for her. And so this way she would know how to make them and wouldn't have to buy them. Sounds morbid, but it's realistic too. Okay. But for now, she's letting me make them. Okie dokie. Let's see if we can actually do this with this new cutter. Hey, not bad. I think I got it right on the line. Okay, that feels a little better. Feels a little better. Okay. Now my next thing I like to do, and it is going to be difficult. Get my scoring board out. Okay, so I can kind of figure out where to put this. All right, let's see here. It does not have to be exact on this first one, so I'm going to not cut for one thing. Okay, I'm just going to line it up on one of those grooves. Make sure it's in here straight. And I know there is something about mountains and valleys and ways of, you know, whether you do it on this side or that side. I'm not good at that. So we are just going to go with it. All I want to do is make it to where this fits in this just a little bit easier for me. Since this is a little bit thicker now. It just gives it a little bend. Yeah. And then I moved it. I'm almost thinking I need to cut a hair more off of this, because I can feel it over the edge a little bit too much. So yeah, let me do that. Nope, wrong one. I've got too many gadgets over here, which is difficult to say because we never have too many gadgets, right? Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about this is that darn line. I don't know if I actually cut anything off. Just a hair. It's got a little bit more off. It also got crooked or something. If I mess up, I can always redo, right? Okay, let's see how this goes. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Let me pull this close to me for just a minute. Okay, still want a little more off. Okay, a little bit more. See, I feel that moving when I cut it. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I could be wrong. Okay, that's better. All right, now finding the next divot here. And yes, I could measure, but this works too. Okay. So just lining it up on one of these little divots in here, putting a light little score line, and we'll see how this fits. Okay. Right. All right, line this one back up. Hold it there. Hey, hey, not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah. I think that's going to work pretty good. Okay. So now I am going to glue it here, not here. So just on the spine part. The glue down to the bottom. Can't tell what was top and bottom now. It takes forever for this glue to drip down. It's very thick glue. I need to thin it a little. But you know, I've never been good with that. I've seen people talk about it online, and they're like, you know, I need to thin out my Fabri-Tac, and every time I've tried it, it just totally messes up the glue. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. There needs to be a tutorial somewhere. How to thin your glue. Okay. The one thing I like about these glue bottles, and I probably would if I went and got, like, there's Sugar Bell bottles is the one everybody uses. If I got those, it would be too, but I am having issues with this thumb joint right here. And so squeezing a lot of things, there's some things that really bothers me, really hurts. So some things I can't do. So if it's too heavyweight of a bottle, I won't be able to squeeze it. All right. Okay. This is where you gotta kind of be precise when you stick it down. What I'm mainly looking at is the top and bottom. And then I will squeeze it in there and get it in there as correct as I can. I usually take a ruler like this to kind of force a nice corner there. Put some pressure on it, adhere it. You can feel that Fabri-Tac, it gets cold. And then when it starts drying, it gets warmer. Make sure on this again. Yeah. Okay. All right. That is step number 1. Now, I have discovered through making these lately that there's something about if you glue this down all the way and then you glue this down all the way, whichever one, it doesn't matter. If you glue this down all the way, when you go to close your, it's something about it won't move right. Like if I glued it down in this position and then I did this, it would only open up about this far. So I have discovered that I do better. I'll glue just a little bit right here, but then I won't glue the rest of it. And when I put this on, I will glue up to here, so that this has a bit of freedom of movement, if that makes sense. I'll actually do it in this position so that it has a bit of freedom of movement. That does leave, a little bit of, it will leave it loose right there. But really, you won't really notice it much because it'll be close to the spine and you just won't notice it much. But it works better for me because I like it when books lay flat. It's better for journaling, better for use. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is do the rest of this off camera because my nerves are a little raggedy as it is from doing what I've done and all the boo-boos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to figure out which way I want to cut these and then adhere these little end papers to the book on both sides so that this will be done at that point. I mean, that part will be done. So I'm going to do this part off camera. So when I come back next time, hopefully this part will be done. The cover will be completely done and we can move on to the pages, the interior. So for now, I hope you've enjoyed this, my fumbling and bumbling and rattling. Thank you for sticking with me. May God bless you and keep you safe.